Hello, I'm Craig Brelsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with executives of two public companies. First up is 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, a growth-oriented biotechnology company with the goal of using cutting-edge biological science and applied research to further develop and commercialize new therapies for the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases. 60 Degrees Pharma has successfully achieved regulatory approval of Arakota, which is tafenoquine, a malaria preventative treatment that has been on the market since late 2019. Currently, 60 Degree Pharma's pipeline includes development programs for tafenoquine and kelgosivir, targeting fungal, tick-borne, and other viral diseases. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is VSEE Health, a software-as-a-service platform that enables clinicians and enterprises to create their telehealth workflows without programming. VSEE Health's system allows a telehealth mobile app to be created or a telehealth system to be integrated into existing hospital operations in days. With a focus on patient disease state telemedicine and turnkey billing services, VSEE Health has integrated an intensive care, critical care, and neuro solutions powered by iDoc Telehealth Solutions as its initial module for the VSEE Health software platform. This technology encompasses a set of integrated telehealth technologies and a team of neurointensivists, neurologists, and teleradiologists that treat and coordinate care for acutely ill patients 24/7, 365 in the neurointensive care unit, cardiac surgery intensive care unit, and the intensive care unit for stroke, brain trauma, and a wide range of neurological conditions. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Now, before we get to the first interview, our quote of the week. It comes from the book, Small Stocks, Big Money. I've made my money by being the first in markets. As a venture capitalist, you have to seek out the cutting-edge companies. You get in as early as possible. That way, you make a lot more headway and profits. This quote comes from John Papajohn, a venture capitalist featured in Chapter 6 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals. Hello, today we've got Jeff Dow, the CEO, President, and Director of 60 Degrees Pharma. Jeff, great to have you back.
Greg, great to see you again, and thanks for the opportunity to speak today.
Jeff, start with an introduction. What is 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals? And introduce us, please, to its lead drug, Arakota. We want to know, how did the company evolve from developing this FDA-approved malaria prevention drug to pursuing treatments for other infectious diseases, such as babesiosis?
So, Greg, we at 60 Degrees Pharma are focused on developing new products for infectious disease. We were very fortunate in 2018 to secure regulatory approval for Arakota for malaria prevention in the US. And since then, we've learned from the scientific literature, both patients and the non-clinical literature, that Arakota actually has some activity against babesiosis, which is a tick-borne disease transmitted by the same ticks that transmit Lyme disease. And so basically, one of the advantages of having an approved product, particularly if you think it works at the same dose against a new indication, is that it's much more cost-effective and less risky to generate the new data to seek regulatory approval for a new disease. And that's what we're attempting to do with babesiosis and Arakota in the coming years.
You know, congratulations, of course, on the medical insights that gave you a clue that Arakota could be useful against babesiosis. But of course, there has to be a commercial strategy as well. So what is that?
So our first commercial strategy is to get to profitability with the malaria prevention indication. And to do that, we've partnered with a commercial sales organization to do a pilot commercial project in the first half of next year, where we'll hire a couple of virtual sales representatives who will market the product to malaria prescribers. So we'll be growing the existing malaria prevention market. And then in parallel with that, we're going to do 3 small targeted babesiosis clinical trials, which will generate the data we need to go back to the FDA and seek approval for babesiosis as a new therapeutic area.
Now, what are you going to tell the FDA and what are you going to tell the world about ARAKODA and how it's better for treating malaria and babesiosis? What are some, say, clinical or maybe convenience advantages that position it?
So, of course, for malaria prevention, the market-leading product is a daily product. That means you have to remember to take the product every day while you're traveling. I personally and many other travelers find that quite inconvenient because I'm not very good at remembering a daily dose. ARAKODA is a weekly product, so it has that key advantage. And then the other thing that people worry about is relapsing malaria and drug resistance in some parts of the world. We don't have those problems with ARAKODA, which means it's kind of a one-stop shop for most travelers to most parts of the world.
Now, turning to the malaria prevention market, what are the specific tactics or partnerships that you are employing to drive growth and awareness?
So we know a lot about the malaria market already. We know that patients and physicians like the target product profile of ARAKODA, but brand awareness is low because we haven't done much commercialization of the product yet. So what we're going to do is partner with a large commercial sales organization to go out and share the message about the features and benefits of ARAKODA to existing malaria prescribers. And then assuming that commercial pilot program that we're going to do in the first half of next year is successful, then we'll scale up from there to reach a much larger market.
Investors, Jeff, always looking out for catalysts, milestones. What should they be looking out for when it comes to 60 Degrees?
So we think we're going to have some important news to announce regarding patient recruitment by the middle of next year. We will have made substantial progress on some of the smaller research projects which we've undertaken this year, and they'll kind of hit the bubble or the envelope in the second quarter of next year. And then, as you know from looking at our 10Qs, we've had pretty good sales growth and interesting commercial information to share with the market over the last few cycles. And we'll be doing similar kinds of reporting in the near future.
Jeff, going to go back to ask you one more question about ARAKODA because we know how important it is to 60 Degrees. What are some next steps in your clinical trials that you could tell us about and the impact that they could have?
Yeah, so the Yale study that came out this year is really important, and both from the company's perspective, but also for patients. If you're immunosuppressed and you get relapsing babesiosis, it's because the standard of care drugs failed. It puts you at risk of rehospitalization. And what that Yale study found is that when you add ARAKODA to existing standard of care, it cured 4 out of 5 patients. We think that should be in the ARAKODA label, but we've got to generate the data to prove it to the FDA satisfaction. And so that's what we're focused on doing in the next 12 months.
Now, Jeff, you've got an FDA-approved drug, obviously. ARAKODA, it's FDA-approved for malaria. Talk to us about its possible uses, like right now, for babesiosis.
Yeah, so Greg, it's pretty interesting. So we know from the literature that because it's published, that physicians have already started using ARAKODA or tafenoquine to treat relapsing babesiosis. And this is a disease in immunosuppressed patients, which is life-threatening. They've usually been through several courses of treatment first. And that published study by Yale showed that 80% of those patients who combine their standard of care medication with a regimen of tafenoquine for several months, 80% of those patients were cured. We're doing a clinical program to try and prove that to FDA's requirements. And then when we're done with that research, we'll go to the agency and try and validate the literature with hard data that the FDA can buy off on.
All right, Jeff, please send us off with the essential value proposition. Tell our viewers, why should they take an interest in 60 Degrees Pharma right now?
Well, we're probably the smallest NASDAQ listed company with an FDA approved pharmaceutical product. The risk is low and the capital investment is low to go from where we are now to greater commercial sales, both for the approved indication and for new diseases in the future.
It's a great story, Jeff. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thanks a lot, Greg. I'll see you next time.
Now, to get more information on 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, visit sxtpinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's move on to our next interview today with VSEE Health. Hello, today we have Imo Isiku, co-CEO and chairman of the board of VSEE Health, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker VSEE. Imo, welcome to the show.
Great. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to the time we have together.
iDoc, which you founded, focuses on high acuity services like eICU, telestroke, and teleneurocritical care. Can you give us an overview of iDoc's specialized services and how they fit within VSEE's broader telehealth mission?
Certainly. I think when I founded iDoc, the main gap I found was that as someone who was a neurointensivist and hence the heavy neuro in the early stages of our development, was that the brain was this organ that was kind of the black box. And so even in highly densely areas, it was difficult to get that expert knowledge diversely spread to different patients. And so that's really was my motivation as a clinician, as a physician. How do I treat patients equally across different areas? And so that's how we started. Over the years, and if we think of how telehealth and telemedicine is done, there's a huge outpatient component. We took our high acuity concept and thought of it from an inpatient component. So the neurointensivist, the cardiac intensivist, the pulmonologist, people who do EEG. Over the years, what we've now gone to do is that VSEE Health really represents both ends of the spectrum. And think of the specialty services, orthopedics, neuro, all of these things, both in an inpatient and outpatient setting, but delivering equitable access, a bridge from the patients to the physicians to the hospital system. And so the platform we have totally allows for all of that. And now we can really do this in a scalable global manner, and starting with what is a high acuity service. So if you can do all the high acuity services like ultrasound, intubation, really high specialty things, That really allows us to also focus on the simple but larger aspect of audiovisual clinic communication. And so with IDOC and VC Lab coming together, we now have this broad mission of transforming digital health into what we feel is the next wave of healthcare.
Physician burnout and specialist shortages, Emo, especially in intensive care, as you know, have reached very critical levels. How does iDoc directly address these issues, and what impact do you see this having on the healthcare system?
It's an interesting concept. First of all, if you step back and look at healthcare, we've been predicting healthcare shortages in certain areas, and critical care has been one of them for 20 plus years. Now we've all talked about how growing educational debt, reduced physician manpower, and an aging population, which means physicians also who need to train the new doctors, we're also losing them. Then you insert, this crazy event called COVID that brought out the telehealth, but it also brought out for frontline workers, these high acuity workers, just a certain degree of burnout. And the literature now has shown that mental health suicides have increased dramatically over the years, and physicians are actually well above the population in these areas. The fact that physicians have now experienced an opportunity to practice a paradigm shift in being able to use telemedicine, the opportunity for a blended practice really is how we help the burnout and the specialist shortages. If those specialists can now be thought of as being able to practice across the country, not just across the local platform. So in the good old days, a doc would have to drive to 3 or 4 hospitals to go see his patients. There's mechanisms now where he can be at one and see all of those patients. The fact that he can have a more balanced life, and which is really what drives the burnout aspects for physicians. And so we've got the burnout and the human capital problem. And this is where IDOC, VC Health really helps leverage that problem.
iDoc provides essential intensive care services to major hospital systems, long-term acute care facilities, and even federal institutions. How big is the overall market opportunity you're addressing, and how much market share have you already secured?
Certainly. The telehealth industry itself is projected to be over 250 billion by 2024. The digital health industry is actually even larger, reaching closer to a trillion when you look at it from a global perspective. We are a micro cap, small component of that, but the opportunity to grow, capitalize on this industry is enormous.
AI, data analytics, transforming healthcare. How do you envision AI being incorporated into iDoc's offerings, and what role will it play in supporting physicians in improving patient care?
So IDOC has started before COVID, and the telehealth aspect of it is already ingrained. AI is a natural aspect that's coming one way or the other, and we're just prepared to take advantage of it and leverage it into the future as healthcare grows.
With iDoc's focus on intensive care and specialty services, Emo, how do you see VC and iDoc's combined offerings appealing to health systems that are looking to enhance both primary and critical care through telehealth?
The beauty of the combination is that, in essence, we are a turnkey solution where we both do the platform, the telemedicine services side, as well as the billing aspects, but we do it in a way where it's a la carte, meaning you can have it all or you can pick individual ones, which is our unique offering.
Lastly, Emo, for the investors watching, give us the essential value proposition. In a few words, why should anyone take an interest in VC right now?
It's really simple. We're a unique value added company that truly understands the SaaS and services by providing you a scalable, secure, and dynamic company that evolves in a nimble way. And when you put all those things together in what we know is a growing industry, we're poised to be one of the leaders in the next few years.
You put it succinctly and very powerfully, Emo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, to get more information on VC Health, visit vchealthinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like VSEE Health. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, SXTP on the NASDAQ. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals is a growth-oriented biotechnology company with the goal of using cutting-edge biological science and applied research to further develop and commercialize new therapies for the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases. 60 Degrees Pharma has successfully achieved regulatory approval of Aracoda, which is tafenoquine, a malaria preventative treatment that has been on the market since late 2019. Currently, 60 Degree Pharma's pipeline includes development programs for tafenoquine and Selgosivir, targeting fungal, tick-borne, and other viral diseases. Learn more at www.sxtpinfo.com. Then, you met VSEE Health, VSEE on the NASDAQ. VSEE Health is a software-as-a-service platform that enables clinicians and enterprises to create their telehealth workflows without programming. VSEE Health's system allows a telehealth mobile app to be created or a telehealth system to be integrated into existing hospital operations in days. With a focus on patient disease state telemedicine and turnkey billing services, VSEE Health has integrated an intensive care, critical care, and neuro solutions powered by iDoc Telehealth Solutions as its initial module for the VSEE Health software platform. This technology encompasses a set of integrated telehealth technologies and a team of neurointensivists, neurologists, and teleradiologists that treat and coordinate care for acutely ill patients 24/7, 365 in the neurointensive care unit, cardiac surgery intensive care unit, and the intensive care unit for stroke, brain trauma, and a wide range of neurological conditions. Learn more at www.vseehealthinfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small cap stock portal in the industry. Every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with market caps of $2 billion and less. And it's categorized by industries. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.
Antimony is a critical mineral used in high-tech and the military, vital to America's national security and economy. But China and Russia control 80% of the world's supply. The U.S. government is rapidly securing a domestic supply of this critical mineral. Meet Nova Minerals, symbol NVA, with high-grade antimony discovered at its project in Alaska and prices at historic highs. Nova Minerals is on a mission to fully secure U.S. domestic supply of antimony. Nova Minerals, NVA.
20 million people annually end up in intensive care units and require mechanical ventilation. Now, Inspira Technologies, a NASDAQ company, symbol IINN, is developing a new technology that could disrupt the $19 billion mechanical ventilation market with an innovative life support system that elevates and stabilizes declining oxygen saturation levels without a ventilator. Inspira Technologies, stock symbol IINN.